Welcome to the deep dive.
Hi there.
Today, we're taking a close look at FlyTravelay.com. We've been digging through their website to really understand what they offer.
Yeah, and look, if you've ever felt that sinking feeling when booking a flight online, the hidden fees, the complicated changes, the endless hold music,
Right.
then this deep dive is definitely for you. We're exploring a platform that says it wants to tackle those headaches head on.
Exactly. FlyTravellay's mission, according to them, is all about, well, transparency and pricing. No nasty surprises.
Hmm.
They also talk about flexible payment options, even crypto, which is interesting, we'll get to that, and personalized support, basically making the whole thing smoother for the traveler.
Putting the customer first is the message.
Yeah, putting you first.
And the origin story is quite revealing, actually. Apparently, it was started by someone named Premdeep.
Oh, right.
Yeah, out of, it seems, sheer frustration with how traditional online travel agencies, the OTAs, operate, especially those surprise fees that ambush you right at the checkout.
We've all been there.
Totally. So they're kind of setting themselves up as a bit of a rebel in the travel booking world.
Okay, interesting. So let's kick things off with what really seems to be their core promise. Transparent pricing.
Yes.
They state it pretty boldly. No fine print, no surprise charges. The price you see is the price you pay. That's quite a direct challenge, isn't it?
It really is. And, they're clearly trying to hit a nerve there. It's a universal frustration.
Mm-hmm.
You find a flight, looks like a great deal, click through a few pages, and bam, the price jumps up with taxes and, like, mysterious fees.
Yeah, the service fee or whatever they call it.
Exactly. So FlyTravelay is explicitly setting themselves apart from, well, unnamed big-name platforms, implying their deals are real from the get-go.
So for anyone listening who's felt that sort of bait and switch, this promise would sound pretty good.
It absolutely would resonate. It addresses that feeling of being, frankly, a bit tricked or overwhelmed.
Yeah, wait, hang on. Where did that extra 50 quid come from? Moment. So if they really deliver on this, it could be a game changer for trust. But how easy is it realistically for a platform to guarantee no hidden fees? Airline pricing is notoriously complex.
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Airlines have their own fee structures, taxes vary, regulations. It's complex.
Right.
It would be fascinating to know the mechanics of how FlyTravelay manages that to actually deliver what you see is what you pay every single time.
Definitely something to watch. Okay, moving on to actually paying for the flight. They mentioned flexible options.
Yeah, so obviously the standard stuff, credit cards, debit cards, PayPal, no surprise there.
Standard.
But then they specifically call out accepting cryptocurrency.
Right, and they frame it as offering true freedom and privacy. Strong words. What do you make of that?
Well, it certainly caters to a maybe niche but growing segment. People who are into crypto value its privacy aspects. So for them, it could be a genuine draw. It also makes FlyTravelay look, modern, tech-savvy.
Embracing the new.
Exactly. But for the average traveler, maybe it's more of a, that's interesting feature than a key reason to book with them. You have to wonder how big the actual demand is for paying for flights with crypto right now.
Good point. Is it a major selling point or more of a signal about their brand identity?
Could be a bit of both. Now, what about actually using the site? They describe the platform as modern, intuitive, built for speed and simplicity.
Yeah, we've all wrestled with clunky travel websites. It can be incredibly frustrating.
Oh, definitely. User experience is just critical these days. If it feels like you need a manual just to find flights, people will just leave.
Bounce right off.
So emphasizing that smooth, easy process makes total sense. Think about trying to compare flight times or baggage rules quickly. A good design saves you time and, honestly, stress.
Absolutely. For me, intuitive means clear menus, filters that actually work, and not being bombarded with pop-ups or, irrelevant upsells.
Yeah, clean and focused.
And speaking of stress, travel plans don't always go smoothly, do they?
Rarely.
So they highlight their 24/7 support, and they make a good point. Travel changes don't follow a 9-to-5 schedule.
That is potentially huge. Knowing you can actually reach a human being for help day or night, especially if you're stranded somewhere or facing a sudden cancellation.
Peace of mind.
Huge peace of mind. It goes beyond just customer service into actual support when you might really need it. The real test, of course, is how responsive and genuinely helpful that support is in practice.
True. That's where the rubber meets the road. Is it quick? Do they solve the problem?
Exactly. But the promise of round-the-clock human help is definitely appealing.
Agreed. And linked to that smooth experience idea is their instant e-ticket confirmation.
Ah, yes. Get your ticket right away after booking. No anxious waiting.
Seems like a small thing,
It
maybe.
might seem small, but in our instant gratification world, waiting even an hour for an email confirmation can feel odd. Creates a little niggle of doubt.
Did it actually go through?
Right, so immediate delivery just smooths that out, removes the uncertainty, lets you tick it off your list and move on.
Okay, now this next one seems like a really core part of their offering, maybe their biggest differentiator.
Right.
The My Agent service.
Ah, yes, the personal touch.
They call it a dedicated travel expert or even a personal travel advocate. This sounds very different from just booking on a website yourself.
It's a major shift, isn't it? It's like bringing back the idea of a travel agent, but integrated into the online platform.
Right.
So instead of a random call center agent each time, you supposedly get one person, your agent.
And this agent handles what? Booking, changes, cancellations?
Apparently, yes.
Yeah.
Booking, modifications, cancellations, check-ins,
Yeah.
even special requests like meal preferences or seating.
Yeah.
It's positioned directly against the sometimes very impersonal experience you get with giant booking sites.
And they really emphasize that this agent works for you, for the customer, not for the airlines. No hidden agendas. That's a powerful pitch.
It is. The potential is definitely there for a much more personalized, less stressful experience, especially for complex trips where things go wrong.
But again, the practicalities.
Yeah.
How does it actually work? How are these agents compensated? Are they truly unbiased advocates?
Crucial questions. You'd need transparency there for it to be fully trusted, but the idea of having a dedicated expert navigate the hassles for you, that's very appealing.
It really is. Okay, their website also specifically lists reasons why they claim travelers in the USA trust them. It's interesting to see that targeted messaging.
Yeah, and it pulls together a lot of what we've discussed. They lead, again, with honest pricing with no hidden fees. No surprise there.
Reinforcing the core message.
But they also mention book now, pay later options. That adds another layer of flexibility.
It does. Could be helpful if you need to lock in a price, but maybe payday is next week, though you'd want to check the terms, right? Interest, fees.
Absolutely. The devil's always in the details with those kinds of offers. They also list redeemable loyalty credits.
Standard loyalty program stuff.
Seems like it. Good for frequent flyers, potentially, but the real value depends on how easy it is to earn and, crucially, spend those credits. Is the redemption process straightforward?
Yeah, sometimes those points just sit there.
Exactly. Then they reiterate crypto acceptance and mention a secure booking environment, which is table stakes, really. You expect that.
It's a basic requirement.
And finally, they double down again on real human support around the clock. Clearly, they see support and transparency as their key pillars.
Okay, so a quick rundown of their services overview seems fairly comprehensive.
Yeah, it covers the essentials. Booking domestic and international flights, real-time airline comparisons. You need that flexible change and cancellation policies.
Which is important.
Very. And then they highlight that My Agent service again, plus the instant confirmations and itineraries. It's a solid list for an OTA.
The My Agent piece definitely keeps popping up as their unique selling proposition.
They're clearly betting heavily on that personalized service angle.
So, wrapping up their vision, they talk about wanting to revolutionize flight booking. Big word.
It is bold language. They want to put control back in the hands of travelers, become the most trusted and transparent platform, first in the U.S., then beyond.
Setting the bar high.
Definitely signals ambition. They want to be seen as more than just transactional. They're framing it as having a purpose.
And they provide clear contact info too, phone numbers, emails for booking and support.
Which is good. Makes them seem accessible, reinforces that support promise, not hiding behind layers of automated menus.
Right. So to kind of summarize this deep dive into FlyTravelay.com, based purely on their own site, they're really building a narrative around fixing common travel frustrations. It hinges on that clear pricing, the personalized My Agent idea, and being open to things like crypto.
Yeah, they're actively challenging the way things are often done by the bigger players, trying to carve out a space based on trust and service.
So the key takeaway for you listening is probably this. If those pain points, hidden fees, impersonal service, and flexible systems really bother you, and if you value that idea of transparency, maybe even want that personal agent touch, or perhaps you're interested in crypto payments, FlyTravelay is presenting itself as an alternative worth considering.
It really prompts you to think about what you prioritize when you book travel. Is it purely the bottom line price, or is it the overall experience and support?
Exactly. Which leads us to a final thought to leave you with. In our increasingly digital, often automated world, how much value do you personally place on having a dedicated human, an agent, to help navigate something complex like travel? Is that promise of transparency and a more personal connection enough to potentially shift your habits away from the platforms you currently use? Something to think about.